Hello, everybody. It's Chat with Chad on Time Tip Tuesday. And I want to get you started today by just giving you some tips. It's late for me right now. It's like a Sunday night. This is my total deadline of deadlines. Okay. So I want to talk about how I almost let fear win this week. And this week I didn't feel strong. I felt foggy. I was distracted. I was off. And if I'm being honest, I felt afraid. Not the kind of fear that I like to talk about openly. It's the kind that creeps in quietly through doubt, pressure, old wounds. Um, I'll leave it at that. And I'm just not even, it's so fresh. I'm not even quite ready to share as much as I want to share here. And I'm trying to be vulnerable, okay? And I want to be vulnerable. But I think you hear what I'm saying. There are some things that just are so fresh, it's hard to talk about. So this week hit harder than most. Something happened that triggered um, deep trust issues for me. It brought up old patterns, fear of authority, shame, and the instinct to just shut down completely. And I find myself pulling back, second guessing, losing focus. And even though I had important things in front of me, my business, my calling, the people I meant to serve, I could feel myself drifting. And that's what fog does. I'm talking about fog to focus, right? And fog can distract you and it can be very subtle and it doesn't always stop you. It can just slowly take you off course. And so at the same time, I'm still showing up for my family, for my business, and for the City Union mission. And I'm still walking with men coming out of homelessness. And this week, I looked back and I realized that one man is about to graduate the program and step into a job. Another is on track to make six figures. I helped de-escalate some very violent situations. I performed CPR on someone whose heart stopped. There's real impact that's happening, right? But here's the tension. Even while doing meaningful work, you can still feel completely off internally. And trauma doesn't just disappear when life looks good on the outside. It shows up as fear and withdrawal and overthinking and playing small and losing clarity. And if you're not careful, it will quietly pull you out of the very calling that you are meant to walk in. And that's where I found myself this week. Some things that had happened years ago are popping up in today. Okay. And I heard something that stopped me, a reminder that stopped me from staying stuck and learning to get focus. And it was a reminder that fear and limiting beliefs will keep you from stepping into the authority and the responsibility that God has already given you. And that hit because I realized I wasn't just having a hard week, I was agreeing with the fear. You catching me? All right. I don't know if you're catching what I'm saying here, but it can so easily, fear can take you out, right? And so I made a decision, not a feeling, a decision to stop living from that fear, to stop shrinking back and living in that other self, to stop letting old patterns define my current calling. And instead, I step back into who I'm called to be: a leader, a protector, a builder, a man of faith, not perfectly, but intentionally. Okay. So even in the middle of that battle, I've kept moving. I made major progress on my new website. I built out systems that help entrepreneurs get started faster. I finalized my audiobook that I'm almost ready to release, and I continued building tools to help people move from fog to focus. Not because it was easy, but because I chose not to stay stuck. So I'm building something and I'm really excited about it. It's a simple system to help you identify your fog and to get clear fast and to have focused momentum, continued focused momentum. And from there, you're going to get practical next steps, some ongoing Time Tip Tuesday insights, and optional tools if you want deeper support. And my goal is simple: help you stay focused on your calling, your long-term goals, what's on your heart, without getting buried in the confusion or the overwhelm. And part of my website is going to kind of help with that. So I'm really excited about that coming out. Now, this week, I was also reminded of someone who shaped me. I always talk about that you need to, measure your days, because from it can come wisdom. And one of my mentors passed away. His name was Bud Clapp, and he's not too much further along than me. It's like I've got to start focusing, right? You've got to focus and realize this life is very God's given you one life, and I've got to use it. I want to use it for His glory and His honor, God's glory and God's honor. I want to live into the best version of me as I possibly can. And he once told me though this story, and I've never forgotten it. He was comforting a woman whose husband had just died. And by the way, there was a season in my life where I became a chaplain and a director at a hospital. And during that, and one of the reasons I did is because of this man actually and his encouragement. But anyway, so he was comforting this woman, he told me, whose husband had just died. And she told him that one of the things that she was really grateful for is that she at least had this cat that was helping her cope. And as he was leaving, he accidentally stepped on the cat and killed it. I mean, let that sink in, right? And yet he kept showing up in his calling after that. And that story stuck with me because I've always lived. I often lived when I was lived out of fear of what other people thought. And because if he could keep going after something like that, then I can face fear. I can move forward. I can keep stepping up into what I'm called to do. And so here's this week's time tip. Don't let fear make your decisions. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to even be perfect, but you do need to decide, am I going to live from fear or from purpose? Fog is confusion, fear, and distraction. Focus is decision, not a feeling. And freedom comes from consistent action in the right direction. And if you're in a fog right now, you're not alone, but you don't have to stay there. And if this is resonating with you at all, I hope you stay connected. There's more coming soon. My name is Chad Earhart. We're going from fog to focus to freedom.